press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi students. So in the last session we have discussed about the Thomson atom model and its drawbacks, alpha ray scattering and proposed model by Rutherford and drawbacks of the Rutherford, and connected some numerical problems on alpha ray scattering. And another part important, and one question again sure from this part, is Bohr's atom model in the structure of atom part 2. So the previous model's success were taken as it is by the Bohr, and he tried to propose a new model by combining the classical mechanics and the earlier quantum mechanics in the form of three postulates. Importantly, they were called as the postulates of Bohr's atom model. What are the previous successes? Every atom consists of a heavy central core called nucleus. And he believed again electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits. Electron having definite mass, charge of this may be Z general, and it may be the radius like that. And it is moving with velocity v, angular velocity may be omega, period may be t. Every atom consists of a heavy central core called a nucleus. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular orbit, satisfying necessary centripetal force provided by electrostatic force, and brought the relation as in the Bohr's Rutherford model taken mv square over r equal to ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, or we can write it as mv square r is ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught. This equation is from Rutherford atom model. He believed it is right, and his new proposal was electrons go around in definite circular orbits in which they are not radiating energy. He called those orbits as non-radiating orbits. Non-radiating stationary orbit. In which they not emit radiation. Electrons revolve around in discrete orbits. There are definite orbits for the electrons around the nucleus in which they are circulating without emitting radiation. ಯಾವುದೇ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡದೆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುತ್ತೊಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ದ. And each orbit has a definite energy. Different orbits may have different energies. One orbit which he considered the lowest one, he called it as a ground orbit. And all other orbits, that higher orbits that can be assumed, I am not drawing completely, they are called as the excited orbits. And each orbit has definite energy. And which orbits are called stationary? He brought the quantum condition, quantization of angular momentum. In the second postulate, it is the first postulate proposed by Bohr, and second postulate quantization of angular momentum. In quantization of angular momentum, mv into r, linear momentum into radius, gives you the angular momentum is an integer multiple of h upon 2 pi. N must be an integer, and he called them as principal quantum number later in the atomic theory. There are different discrete orbits. These in orbits, electrons can revolve such that mv are equal to nh upon 2 pi. As long as electrons in these orbits, they are non-radiating orbits, electrons revolve in those orbits without absorption and emission, no radiation at all. And how the radiation may come from the atom? Let us assume when the energy is received by the atom, electrons in particular orbit may run to the higher orbit excited. And within fraction of second of 10 power minus 8 seconds maximum, that electron will return maybe in between and that or it directly to that. In such case, it radiates energy of a definite photon. Here, these are the quantum conditions applied. This is a classical mechanics, but here it is a quantum condition frequency quantization. Frequency quantization, N2 must be higher than N1, En2 become more than En1, in which case when the electron returns to the ground state, when it returns to the lower energy orbits, from higher energy orbits to the lower energy orbits, radiate energy h nu. Our frequency is En2 minus En1 divided by h. These are the three important postulates, and taking the earlier Rutherford's concept that centripetal force provided by the provided by electrostatic force of attraction between electron and nucleus, and thereby they go around the nucleus in circular orbits. So totally, if we combine Rutherford's thoughts, and these three are the thoughts by Bohr, we have to see the expression for radius, velocity, frequency, period, magnetic field produced by electron, current that is constituting in any orbit, and even the expression for kinetic energy, potential energy, and total energy of the electron in any orbit of atoms of any element. So before that, just I conclude these three importantly. Quantum, when they use the word quantization of angular momentum, please see this MER equal to NH upon 2 pi. Frequency quantization, when electron return back to the ground state or the lower orbits from higher orbit, higher energy to the lower energy, electron when jump back, that radiate energy equal to the difference of energy of the two orbits. That is the frequency quantization. And as long as in the stationary orbits conditioned by this, electrons on their own cannot radiate energy. So with this and taking the these two equations, let us see the equations of the for a relation expression for radius, expression for velocity and all. So just when you take this equation with another mvr equal to nh upon 2 pi. Remembrance is easier, but even it is not possible, we have to can generate immediately the expression for velocity. If you see here, when you look into this velocity 1 divided by the 2, 1 divided by the 2 here available, z e square by 4 pi epsilon naught nh upon 2 pi, which gives velocity equal to z e square by 2 epsilon naught nh. So this clearly indicates velocity of the electron in any orbit depends on the two factors. One is z and another is n. So these two, as element changes, value of z changes, as orbit number changes, n changes. This an important relation you have to remember along with this equation. And here we calculated c is the speed of light 137. Z by n relation can be used to go for any element atom to any orbit, and it is equivalent to 2.1 into 10 power 6 into Z by n is the equation for. So equivalently, you know, Z and n, the simplification of all this will give you the value this almost 100 times less than the speed of light. With such a high speed, the electron is revolving in atom. So the fourth one observed means you have to square the second and divide the first. So what happens? See, m square v square r square by m v square r, that n square h square by 4 pi square into z e square by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this gives you n square h square epsilon naught by z e square, or where radius expression is n square h square epsilon naught by pi m z e square. So this again implies velocity is proportional to z square by n. Importantly, you have to remember the fifth equation. As not velocity, radius. Velocity is proportional to z by n and has this relation. Similarly, radius you are saying directly proportional to z square and inversely proportional to, directly proportional to n square and inversely proportional to z, are proportional to n square by z. So when for the first orbit radius taken as 0.53 angstrom is for the ground orbit. In general, for any orbit, 0.53 into n square by z angstrom. This relation also can help you to go to find the radius of any orbit of any element atom. Directly square of orbit number and inversely with z. Radius sinks as z increases, because of which we are seeing helium atom having a smaller radius than that of the hydrogen atom. However, you are seeing that r is proportional to n square. If you see, the orbital distributions are not uniform. So this, if you take the first orbit at a distance 1, the second orbit at a distance 4, so that the separation is 3. You see, the separation between the gap between the two orbits goes on increases. If you go to the third orbit, it is 9. From here, if you go, it is 9. But the separation, if you observe, 5. So radius of the orbits 1, 4, 9, like that runs. If you want to see the separation between orbits, here it is 1, 3, 5. Next we can write 7. So 4, it is 16 become. Interdistance between the orbits goes on increases as orbit number increases. Can write r1 del dr. So this is about the two relations we have taken. That one is about the velocity and other is about the radius. And coming to the energy, kinetic, you know, as it is moving has a kinetic energy half mv square. Substituting from this, can immediately write 8 pi z e square by 8 pi epsilon naught r is one equation. From this we substituted for me square. Potential energy can be as potential due to the nucleus at the orbit of the electron and charge of electron which is at that orbit. So it become minus z e square by 4 pi epsilon naught r, and observation clearly gives you that potential energy is minus 2 times the kinetic energy. See, multiplied by 2 and divided by 2, it become 8 pi epsilon naught r. Minus z e square 8 pi epsilon naught r is kinetic energy, but minus term. Minus 2 times kinetic energy gives you the potential energy. Substituting for total energy as the sum of the two, kinetic energy plus potential energy, you obtain minus z e square by 8 pi epsilon naught r, which gives you the equation here third, if you look into, it is also minus, it is also minus, directly can be written potential energy is equal to 2 times the total energy plus total energy, ಇದು ಮೈನಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಇದು 8 ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 8 ಆದರೆ 2 ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಮೈನಸ್ ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಸೈನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮೈನಸ್ ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಡಿ, ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಂಟ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Potential energy equal to minus 2 times kinetic energy or 2 times total energy, and total energy is minus kinetic energy. Substituting for R, you got the expression for total energy as En equal to minus m z square e to the power of 4 divided by 8 epsilon square n square h square is the relation. Substituting for R from this relation, n square h square epsilon pi m z e square ಇಂದ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಕೂಡ ನಿಮಗೆ minus 13.6 z square by n square in terms of electron volt. Total energy is proportional to z square and inversely proportional to n square. ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ 5 ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಒಂದು, electrostatic force equal to centripetal force. Immediately you are knowing well and acquainted, and this also you are knowing MER is NH upon 2 pi. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ರೇಷಿಯೋ, ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಅಂತೂ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು z and inversely with n, whereas radius is squaring to first one can be obtained, and radius is proportional to n square and z. The concept we have discussed here, and they are distributed not uniformly. As the n number increases, gap between the orbits goes on increases. Kinetic energy, potential energy and total energy comes minus 13.6 z square by n square. So for any atom of any element and also of any orbit can be obtained, and we have to see in comparison with radius what happens to the energy and other terms. I hope you are understood this. Just take a screenshot and note it down, all those. So we come to know the first radius is a point of 5.3 into n square by z angstrom. Velocity is c by 137 times z by n, or 2.1 into 10 power 6 into z by n meter per second. And third, energy of nth term minus 13.6 z square by n square. And significance here when we go to talk about the total energy expression, minus m z square 8 epsilon square n square h square as 13.6 z square by n square ev. Energy proportional to that value. However, when you put for hydrogen atom n is equal to 1, energy, look here, it is minus 13.6. n equal to 2, it is becoming 4, 3.4 ev. n equal to 3, minus 1.51 ev, dividing by 9. n equal to 4 E4 minus 8 5 eV. So what we are seeing as orbit number is increasing. Energy orbit number increases. Energy is approaching towards zero. That means energy also increasing. Energy is also increasing because of this negative sign. It is reaching zero. As orbit number increases, energy increases. Higher orbits have or excited orbits have higher energy compared to the ground orbit. As the orbit number is high, more energy associates with the electron in that orbit. That's what we have observed, and if you plot the energy level diagram, you are seeing the difference even in ground orbit to second orbit. It is around minus 13.6. When you go to this, it is minus 3.4. The difference observed is 10.2 electron volt. Large separation is existing between these two. When you look, the difference between these two is around 1.5, 50% reduces. Just it become less. The difference, it may be minus 1.51, it is also around 1.5 or 1.9 like that EV. So still you come to this, it is still less. So it is again closer. It is maybe 0.85. This comes to be around 0.9 EV. And almost it is infinite level 0. It is in contrast to the radius when we observed as orbit number increases, separation between the orbits increased as orbit number increased. But here as the orbit number increases, energy increases, but however the separation between the orbits decreases. Sometimes they give the energy level diagram or the orbital level diagram, and they may say which one is the correct one. Most simple basic questions, conceptual questions appears. Please remember, in case of radius, separation increases. In case of energy level diagram, the separation between the energies goes on decreases as orbit number increases. This is about the radius, velocity and energy along with kinetic energy. And just you note it down finally, kinetic energy equal to minus total energy. And second, potential energy can be had as minus 2 times kinetic energy or 2 times the total energy. The relation that also to be remembered. And with this I hope you have understood the significance of negative sign and energy increasing and energy level diagram. So that relation, please take a screenshot. I move to the next part. See, as electron is moving in circular orbits that has a period. Period T is already 2 pi r by v. I am not going to derive the equation. Dependency factors are most important in problems in entrance. So this clearly indicates period is proportional to radius by velocity. As radius is n square by z and velocity is z by n. So this proposed to n cube by z square. That means I can introduce here as a fifth one AB, that fourth one. Period is proportional to n cube by z square. So for the special case, if I put z is 1, what we see is a t proportional to n cube. But if I write this as t square, then I can write it n power 6, or I can write is n square to the power of 3. But already we know that r is proportional to n square because z is 1. So I can write t square proportional to r to the cube. This is nothing but gravitational law, Kepler's law. This also confirms law is symmetric when applied to macro bodies like celestial bodies, where period of revolution of a planet round the sun is proportional to the cube of mean distance of the planet from the sun. Here it is square of period of revolution of the electron, microscopic body, is directly proportional to cube of radius of the orbit of the electron in the atom. So this t square proportional to r cube is also considered. So sometimes if they given in terms of radius, you can use this relation for the period calculation. T square proportional to r cube, the Kepler's law. And second, frequency. Frequency of revolution is 1 by period. Therefore, I can directly write frequency is proportional to z square by n cube. The another equation you can note it down, frequency is proportional to z square by n cube. And coming to the third, current, due to the electron motion in the orbit, as it is a charged particle moving around in circular path, orbital current exists. This orbital current can be written as q by t, or it is qf, which suggests current is proportional to z square by n cube, because it is proportional to frequency and frequency relation holds good. That here I can write even current is proportional to z square by n cube. Additionally requires in entrance period, frequency, current that may be constituted due to the electron's motion as orbital current. And then coming to the fourth one as magnetic moment. Magnetic moment is current into area, or it is also known NEH upon NEH upon 4 pi m holds good in atom. Bohr atom model we have discussed. As it is M, magnetic moment is proportional to N. That seventh one, magnetic moment proportional to N. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು z ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬೈ n ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇಂಟು ಪೈ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇದೆ. ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ n ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬೈ z ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್, ಆರ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು n ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬೈ z. ನೋಡಿ z ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ಗೆ z ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, n ಪವರ್ 4 n ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇದೆ, that become n. Either way you can go, it is not changing, m is proportional to n. Similarly, we can see about the magnetic field B. As it is revolving, what is the magnetic field produced at the center of the atom, center of orbit? That mu naught q by t into 2r. Mu naught I is nothing but q by t. So here variables are B is proportional to 1 by t r, t and r, proportional to 1 by, what is the period? N cube by z cube, n cube by z square, r is n square by z. So magnetic field is found to be n square by z in case of radius, tr, t is n cube by z square. So it becomes z cube by n to the power of 5. So similarly, acceleration, if you want to go, even we can calculate acceleration of the electron in circular orbit. Magnetic field ಗೆ ಬರದ್ರಿ, the relation B proportional to z cube by n to the power of 5. When you go for the acceleration, it is centripetal acceleration. Already you know what is V. V is z by n square divided by r is n square by z. So this become z square into z is z cube. It is n to the power of 4. The acceleration is equal to that proportional to I. So I can write acceleration of the electron is z cube by n to the power of 4. So ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೆಲವು ಸರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್, ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್, ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು. ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಹೊಡೆಯೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಈ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಈ ಮೂರು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ, ರೇಡಿಯಸ್, ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ, ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್, ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ದಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, the electron may be non-orbit, go to the higher orbits. These are all called excited orbits, and this is ground orbit. These are excited orbits. Electron jump to the higher orbit. It may be 2, it may be n1 to n2. The energy that is supplied to make the electron to go to the higher orbit called as the excitation energy. Minimum energy necessary we have to supply to an electron of an atom in an orbit, so that by absorbing energy that should jump to the higher energy particular orbit. That is called excitation energy, and immediately you know it can be shown to be equal to 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square if it is of hydrogen. In general I can write 13.6 into z square. ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೇಷನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿಗೆ ರಿಲೇಷನ್, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮೆನಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೇಷನ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಶಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೇವೆ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಯು ನೋ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇವಿ, ರೈಟ್? Therefore excitation potential is nothing but whatever it comes excitation energy in EV as it is right in volt. For example, excitation energy come as a 10.2 electron volt. What is excitation potential means it is a 10.2 volt. Just remove E. Actual meaning is we have to accelerate an outside electron through a potential difference so that it must gain energy. That by impact can excite the electron from that orbit to higher orbit. ಹೊರಗಿನ ಒಂದು ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಓಡಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಗೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಎನರ್ಜಿಯಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಇಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಹಿಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಆ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಹೈಯರ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಇಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ at which we are accelerated is called accelerating potential. That is excitation potential is expressed excitation energy in EV. E ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಫಾರ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಎನಿ ಟು ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್. So then go to the another important relation is about the ionization potential. So taking the electron completely free from the atom, ionizing the atom, minimum energy necessary to ionize the atom. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಯನೈಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೇ ಇಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. n2 is infinity because it is nothing but rising the electron to infinite orbit, because of which I can write energy equal to 13.6 z square by n1 square. ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆನ್ಸರ್ is in terms of electron volt. This is for ionization energy. Similarly, ionization potential. Ionization potential. That's what I told. Same, whatever comes, you calculate and express in volt. Volt ಅಲ್ಲಿ explain ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ionization potential, ionization energy, that minimum energy necessary to ionize the atom. ಹಾಗೇನೆ excitation potential, any orbit to any orbit, excitation potential. Equally, the terms are important. Note down these relations which are more useful for entrance concern. So let us come to another important part is a wave number expression. The second part in Bohr's atom model where the questions are coming, an important part. Wave number. Very word is number of waves in 1 meter length. That is nothing but representing like this and 1 by wavelength. 1 meter length per meter is the unit of measurement. So however, when electrons jumps from higher orbit to the lower orbit, according to the frequency quantization, you know E is equal to En2 minus En1. This I can write as h nu 13.6 z square 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Or I can write this in original form mz square e to the power of 4 by 8 epsilon square h square n1 n2 taken inside. This is a frequency of radiation. Earlier we have taken frequency of the electron revolving in circular orbit, that gives you the frequency of electrons. Here it is the frequency of radiation emitted. So here now we are taking an electron when returned to the higher orbits to the lower orbit. It gives out energy h nu. This is the frequency of radiation. Frequency of radiation can be written nu is equal to mz square e to the power of 4 by 8 cube into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. But nu is equal to c by lambda, and 1 by lambda is nothing but wave number, and this is equal to mz square e to the power of 4 by 8 epsilon square h cube into c 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. And this we are writing as a r z square into 1 by n1 square minus n2 square, where r is called a Rydberg constant, m e to the power of 4 by 8 epsilon square h cube c, all are constants, and all these constants if you simplify you will get 10 power 7 per meter. Very interesting is just asked about the Rydberg constant unit appeared. They give the different options. The unit of Rydberg constant is per meter. Because wave number is measured in per meter, wave number is R. All are numbers remaining. This is for hydrogen atom. R we taken for the hydrogen atom. For any other element atom, Z is included. R Z square into 1 by n1 square minus n2 square. Therefore, I can write the frequency relation according to this as R Z square into C, because wave number 1 by lambda. If you multiply by C, this side also have to multiply by C. Illi C in the multiple madidre illu madbeku. Aga C by lambda is new. Therefore, this equation is holds good for frequency. It is a frequency relation, wave number expression, or 1 by wavelength. Most important relation. Problems are coming more in this also. I hope we are come to know the formula. New frequency relation means r z square c into 1 by n1 square upon n2 square. Wave number which is 1 by lambda is r z square into 1 by n1 square minus n2 square. ಇದು ನಾವು equations ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆ equations ಮೇಲೆ it is wave number thought. we have to see the different spectral series of hydrogen atom. So whenever hydrogen gas is excited, different atoms may rise to different higher energy states, and they return to the different ground state. Before returning ground state, they may take different stages, higher orbits to the intermediate orbits, and then again intermediate to ground state. So thereby, when electrons are returning to the ground state, they are able to emit the wavelengths. So these wavelengths that are emitted by the hydrogen atom, we are grouped in a systematic way, and they were proposed by different scientists. And we are seeing the 5 different series. The first one, before that, we are using the relation here R into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square, which is nothing but 1 by lambda. This is wave number expression. If you see the energy level diagram, it is 1 and 2, then it may be 3, 4, 5, 6, and also maybe infinity. It is a ground level and all are excited orbits. Is a ground orbit. Energy. Ground orbits energy, excited orbits energies. We are representing energies, orbit number 1, 2, 3 represented. Here ground orbit energy. It is an energy level diagram. See the first series considered as a Lyman series. Atoms or electron in any higher excited state, when returned to the ground state from higher energy states, gives to Lyman series, for which in this n1 must be 1, n2 may be 2, 3, 4 like that. Longest wavelength expecting here is 1 to 1.5 angstrom. So longest wavelength is always the first member. First member, always we take n2 is equal to n1 plus 1. First member, this is taken as a first member. Minimum energy, maximum wavelength irutte. Shortest wavelength, 912 angstrom. It is n2 must be infinity. What we see, if we substitute in this and knowing the value of R, so the wavelength of Lyman series observed to be running between 912 angstrom to 1215 angstrom. It is in the UV region of electromagnetic spectrum, ultraviolet region, UV region of the spectrum. Second, come to Balmer series, in which n1 is 2, n2 is 3, 4, 5, 6. It is named as H alpha, H beta, H gamma and H delta. ಈ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬಾಲ್ಮರ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 3, ಬೀಟಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 4, ಗಾಮಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 5, ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 6, ಬಟ್ n1 is 2 for that. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಬಾಲ್ಮರ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ is swing between 3, 6, 4, 6 angstrom series limit, and longest wavelength is found to be around this, almost in the visible region of electromagnetic spectrum nalli Balmer series ide. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೈಯರ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಲೋವರ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಲ್ಮರ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ರೀಸನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿದೆ. Visible reason of the electromagnetic spectrum. Let us come to the third, Lyman-Balmer series, Paschen series. So this is from N1 is 3, N2 must be 4, 5, 6 like. If you observe the Paschen series wavelength is around 10,000. I am rounding up to remember up to 20,000 angstrom. 10,000 angstrom to 20,000 angstrom. It is in the infrared region. That third orbit, Paschen series, infrared region nallirutte. The fourth one, bracket series, in which N1 is a 4, N2 is a 5, 6, 7, etc. Lambda bracket series is around 19,000 angstrom to 40,000 angstrom. 19,000 to 40,000. ಇದು ಕೂಡ infrared region. Bracket series up to the fourth orbit. Infrared region nallirutte. Fifth one we have taken as a P fund series. N1 is 5, N2 is 6, 5, 7 on. Wavelength nodidre 33,000 angstrom inda 75,000 angstrom varage irutte. The range is so wide. Where we take it is the fifth orbit transition. It is the P fund series and present in infrared region. So what we observed finally is, in the electromagnetic spectrum, if I draw the electromagnetic spectrum, this is the UV region where the Lyman series lies. It is the visible region. It is the Balmer series. And this is the infrared region. Here Paschen, bracket, and P fund series. Lyman in the UV region, Balmer series in the visible region, Paschen and bracket series, P fund series are in the infrared region. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ನೋಡಿ, ನೀವು higher ನಂಬರಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗೇನೆ series N1 is 1 Lyman UV, second N1 2 Balmer is in the visible. ನಂತರ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾರೆಡ್ ರೇಸ್ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ಬ್ರಿಂಗಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಇದು ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆರ್ಡರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಹೇಳಿ ಯಾವ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಕಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ವೈಸ್ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ರೀಸನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನೀವು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಏನ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, 1/λ which is wave number r into z square into 1/n2 square. ಒಂದು ನೆನಪಿಡಿ, ಲಾಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ or minimum ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಇಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಒನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ಯಾವ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಮನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 1, ಬಾಲ್ಮರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 2, ಪ್ಯಾಶ್ಚನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಸಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಲೈಮನ್ನಿಗಾದ್ರೆ 1, ಬಾಲ್ಮರ್ ಸೀರೀಸಿಗಾದ್ರೆ 2, ಪ್ಯಾಶ್ಚನ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 3. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ N2 ಇದೊಂದು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. H ಆಲ್ಫಾ, H ಬೀಟಾ, H ಗಾಮಾ, H ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಬಂದಾಗ 3, 4, 5, 6. ಅದೇ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಾಗಿದ್ರೆ 4 ಅಂಡ್ ಪಿ ಫಂಡ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 5. N1 is. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ N2 ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯದಿದ್ರೆ N1 + 1 ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಕೇಸಿ. ಲಾಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ವರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಔಟ್ ದಿ ಸೀರೀಸ್. ಲೈಮನ್, ಬಾಲ್ಮರ್, ಪ್ಯಾಶ್ಚನ್, ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್, ಪಿ ಫಂಡ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. N1 ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. N2 ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದ್ರೆ N1 + 1 ಹಾಕಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಾಲ್ಮರ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು N1 is 2. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 2 + 1 is 3. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್, limiting member, shortest wavelength, highest energy, maximum energy or maximum frequency. ಇಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೂ N2 ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. N1 ಅಗೇನ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದಿ ಸೀರೀಸ್. ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದಟ್ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಯಾವ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. N1 ಇದು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ N2 ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟಿ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸಿ ದಿ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತಾಗಿದ್ರೆ N1² ಬೈ RZ² ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಹೋಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. RZ² ಬೈ N1². ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ N1² ಬೈ RZ². ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್, ಲಿಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್, ಆರ್ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಆರ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್, ಶಾರ್ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆರ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ನೀವು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ರೀಡ್ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲಿ ದಿ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದಿ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಇಟ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನು ಅಂದಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ 1, 2, 3, 4 ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್, ಇವು ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. whenever N1 and others electrons are returning. So for example third orbit ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ. How many spectral lines we get ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ನೋಡಿ. ಈಗ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೀಗೆ ಬಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ 3 ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಹೈಯರಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎನಿ N1, N2 number of spectral lines, the important relation I have, number of spectral lines emitted when electron transition between N2 to N1 with the N2 greater than N1. We have a relation N equal to N2 minus N1 into N2 minus N1 plus 1 divided by 2 is a most general equation. For any higher orbit to any orbit it can return. Suppose N1 is 1 ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಆಗ ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ N1 into N2 into N2 minus 1 divided by 2 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು N into N minus 1 by 2 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ N1 ಗೆ 1 ಕೊಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ N2 ಉಳಿತದೆ. ಇದು n2 - 1 ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ, ಸೊ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು 3, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 - 1 is 2 cancels and answer you get 3. ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎನಿ ಹೈಯರ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ n ಇಂದ ಅಂತ ಆಗಿದೆ. n is a higher orbit, ground orbit written. Between any two orbits ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ n2 - n1, n2 - n1 + 1/2. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ. ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ರಲ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಆಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ದೋಸ್. So another term is recoil of atom. See, this is a nucleus. Electrons are revolving in various circular orbits of the atom. So now it is the atom having some excited electron. Both were at rest, assumed earlier. Whenever this electron returns to the ground state, it emits radiation having energy. It is. What is the momentum anta kelidre? H by lambda is the momentum of the radiation emitted. But at the same time, atom recoils with some energy which can write in as p square by 2m, where m is the reduced mass of atom. Recoil atom in a mass. P is the momentum, where p is a momentum which is h by lambda only, because momentum of atom plus momentum of photon equal to 0. Because earlier, before emitting radiation, both were at rest. As the radiation is emitted along positive x direction, according to Newton's law of conservation, it should recoil. How much it is recoiled is law of conservation of momentum should get valid. That p of atom plus p of photon is 0. Therefore, momentum of photon must be equal to momentum of atom. Recoil momentum of atom. Therefore, recoil momentum of atom. So this p is equal to h by lambda, h into nu bar. Therefore, I can write h into r z square into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. This gives you the recoil momentum, recoil energy. Here recoil radiation energy and photon energy, photon momentum. ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ recoil momentum of atom ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಡಿಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ mass of electron, mass of nucleus, mass of electron, mass of nucleus, m plus m gives you the reduced mass of this system. Mass of electron, mass of atom. ಇದು ರಿಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ನೀಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, KCET ಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. And the last part of this chapter, after seeing all these, about to be de Broglie's explanation of orbits of hydrogen. Quantization condition may be taken by Bohr. MV equal to NH upon 2 pi. Simple manipulation of this, we can see that 2 pi r is equal to NH upon MV. N is a orbit number, but this is the de Broglie wavelength. It is the de Broglie wavelength of electron. De Broglie wavelength of electron, thereby 2 pi r. This is circumference of the orbit as a n lambda, where n refers to the orbit number. Sometimes questions are coming in this orbit number and de Broglie wavelength. How related? It appears to be n here in this equation appears to be n inversely. But you know that lambda is proportional to r by n, I write first. This I n taken to denominator, 2 pi is constant. But on what factors r depends? R depends on n square by z. So lambda now, therefore de Broglie wavelength is proportional to n by z. Or I can say lambda proportional to n. It is a de Broglie wavelength. Orbit number ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಿನ ವೇವ್ಲೆಂತ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ಎನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ವೇವ್. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಮೇನ್ ಥ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ electron is behaving like a wave, and told that electron move around the circular orbits forming the stationary waves. So the first one is explain ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ. Suppose if there is a wavelength, ನೀವು ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ವೇವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ that should be an integer multiple of lambda by 2. ಹಾಫ್ ಸೆಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಇದರ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ವೇವ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿನೇ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಗಳು ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ 4. 1 2 ತೋರಿಸೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ, ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4th ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್, ಇದು ಒಂದು, ಇದು ಒಂದು, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. 5 6 ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಲೂಪ್ಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಲೂಪ್ಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಲೂಪಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೊರತು ಲೂಪಿನ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅವನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್. ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ 3 and 4, 1 ಲೂಪ್ 2 ಲೂಪ್ 3 ಲೂಪ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗಬೇಕೇ ಹೊರತು ವೇರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಡಿ ಬ್ರೋಗ್ಲಿ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್. ಡಿ ಬ್ರೋಗ್ಲಿ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಇಂಟು ಇಂಟಿಜರ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬೈ 2. ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬೈ 2 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟಿಜರ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. 1 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, 2 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, 3 4 5 ಅಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ 3 and 4 ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 1 ಲೂಪ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್. ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ವಿತ್ ದೀಸ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಿಸ್, n lambda equal to c 2 pi r, circumference of the orbit equal to integer multiple of lambda. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ರಿಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಫೋಟಾನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸಿ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಡ್. ಶೂರ್ 1 or 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, 1 ಅಂತೂ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಸರಿ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ. ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಟಮ್, we have discussed about the postulates of the Bohr's atom model, and then enter into the expression for radius, velocity, energy, and on what factors, that means particularly the period depends on orbit number and atomic number, n and z ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, frequency of revolution of the electron, period of revolution, current constituted by electron, that which constitute magnetic field at the center of the electron orbit at the nucleus, or magnetic field or acceleration of the electron ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ವೇವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್, ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ರಲ್ ಸೀರೀಸಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ರಲ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಗೆ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. Finally, reduced mass and also recoil momentum of the atom and de Broglie concept. De Broglie's explanation of the hydrogen orbits. Let us see the numerical problems on this. See the simple problem. Number 1. The ratio of area of orbit of area of orbit of first excited state. First excited state of electron to the area of orbit of ground level of our hydrogen atom is. See, we are knowing electron orbit in hydrogen atom. They want area of this is pi r square, where r is the radius of the orbit. Now the question is ratio of first excited state. It is a ground state, and this one is the first excited state, means already ground state n1 is 1, excited state n2 is 2, first excited state, and area of 1 to area of 2 ಹೇಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅದನ್ನೇ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ a2 to a1, excited state of electron to ground state ಗೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಇದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ I have to write r2 by r1 whole square, because area is proportional to r square. And also, you know, r proportional to n square only because that is 1 for hydrogen atom. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಇದನ್ನ, n2 by n1 whole square to the power of square. So 2 by 1 to the power of 4, 2. This becomes 16 is to 1. So answer you will get a1 is to a2 equal to 16 is to 1 is the answer. I think followed. Excited first means 2, ground level is 1, area asked radius square, radius is proportional to n square, this become n power 4, n power 4 by 1, 2 power 4 is 16, and hence the solution. Coming to the second one, the radius of Bohr orbit in the ground state radius of Bohr orbit in ground state of hydrogen atom is 0.5 angstrom. The radius of the orbit of the electron in the radius of orbit of electron in the third excited state of singly ionized helium atom is. Singly ionized helium atom. Again, question is on radius. Remember, R is proportional to n square by z. So for hydrogen concerned here, ground state given, hydrogen is 1 and z of hydrogen already know it is 1. But when go to the singly ionized helium atom, here n helium when I write, it is the third excited state means 3 plus 1 ground state is 4. Excited third excited state leaving the ground state ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ground state add ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಹಾಗೆ z of helium is known to you, this is equal to 2. Now they are asking radius of helium atom to radius of hydrogen, n of helium to n of hydrogen square into z of hydrogen to z of helium, because this relation directly with n square but inversely with z. Substituting here, n of helium they given 4 divided by 1 square into z of hydrogen is 1 by 2, which is 8 is to 1 because 16 by 2. The answer is 8 is to 1. And in that question is finally about the radius of excited orbit. Radius of helium atom is 0.5 into 8 equal to 4 angstrom. ನಿಮಗೆ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೀಲಿಯಂ, ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಸ್ 0.5 angstrom and question is on radius of helium. Let us see the third question. Consider third orbit of helium. Singly ionized using non-relativistic approach, the speed of electron in this orbit ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Third orbit of helium atom, question is on speed. I given you for any orbit, any elements atom, 2.1 into 10 power 6 non-relativistic approach ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ just it is under the hydrogen atom, relativistic variation of mass is not accounted, it is said to be moving with a constant speed. So V depends on n by z ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ 2.1 into 10 power 6 sorry z by n. So that z is helium nucleus, therefore it is 2, it is 3. This if we multiplied 0.7 into 2 is 1.4 into 10 power 6 meter per second, the velocity available. ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ v is z by n ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ you can get the solution more easily. And coming to the fourth one, the de Broglie wavelength associated with electron associated with the electron orbiting in the second excited state of orbiting in the second excited state of hydrogen atom is related to that in the ground state is ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು JEE 2017 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ 18 ಸಾರಿ ನಾಟ್ 17 in 18. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಡಿ ಬ್ರೋಗ್ಲಿ ವೇವ್ಲೆಂತ್ ಮೇಲಿದೆ, ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ N2 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ is 3, ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1. ಈಗ ಅವರು ಡಿ ಬ್ರೋಗ್ಲಿ ವೇವ್ಲೆಂತ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬಿ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಜಿ ಎಷ್ಟು? ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಈಸ್. ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ವೇವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಡಿ ಬ್ರೋಗ್ಲಿ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ಎನ್ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಐ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ಡ್ ಯು. ಸೊ ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಆಫ್ ಬಿ ಟು ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇದು ನಮಗೆ N2 by N1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬಿಗೆ N2 ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, N1ಗೆ G ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ರೆಫರ್ಸ್ ಟು 3 by 1. ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 3 times ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಜಿ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ. Come to question number 5. Given the Bohr radius .53 angstrom, the shortest radius of electron orbit in hydrogen like atom is nearly 0.18 angstrom, then atom is. ಆಟಮ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ 4 ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಕ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಬೋರ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್, ಗಿವನ್ ದಿ ಬೋರ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ N1 is 1 and Bohr radius of Z1 is 1. R1 is 0.53 angstrom ಕೊಟ್ಟ. ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಈಸ್, ಈಗ N2 ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, N2 ಶಾರ್ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್. Z2 ಕಂಡಿಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಟಮ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. R2 ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ 0.18 angstrom. You know R is proportional to N square by Z. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ R2 by R1 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ N2 by N1 whole square into Z1 by Z1 by Z2. R is directly and Z is inversely. ಇದು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ Z2 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದ್ರೆ Z1 is 1, R1 is 0.53 divided by 0.18 approximately 3. Z2 3 ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಬ್ಲಿ ಅಯನೈಸ್ಡ್ ಲಿಥಿಯಂ ಆಟಮ್, ಇದು ಆನ್ಸರ್. Next question. The relation between orbital radius of electron and its velocity for a stable orbit in a hydrogen atom is. Here also there are 4 different relations, but relation has to see between the radius and velocity. According to the relation mv square by r, ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಆದಾಗ ಇದನ್ನೇ ನೀವು ಸಿಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ವಿ ಉಳಿತದೆ. ವಿ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ Z1 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 4 pi epsilon naught m into r. ಒಂದು r ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ವಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ರೂಟ್. ಈ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೈನಲ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅದು. Coming to next question. 2 electrons in an atom move around the nucleus in circular orbits of radius r and 4r. Then the ratio of times taken by them to complete one revolution. See here, if you observe, they given the radius factor with the time taken by them to complete one revolution means nothing but period. Period ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯೂ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ T1/T2 ಹೋಗಿ R1/R2 to the power of 3/2 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 4R to the power of 3/2. So this equal to 1/2 square to the power of 3/2 is 1:8. Answer available is like this, 1:8 ಅಂತ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. See another question. The Bohr model of hydrogen atom R, V and E represents radius, velocity and energy. Total energy of electron in orbits respectively. Which of the following quantity is proportional to quantum number? N. Something which is proportional to n ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದೆ. Option 1 Re, option 2 Vr, option 3 R/E, option 4 E/eV. VRE ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬೋರ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇರೋದು ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. You know radius is proportional to n square, energy is proportional to 1/n square, velocity is proportional to 1/n ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಯಾವುದು ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನೇಟ್ ಟು n ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡಿ. R into E ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ n square into 1/n square which become a constant, not possible. VR ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ n square into 1/n which leads to n, ಇದು ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಥರ್ಡ್ ನೋಡಿ, n square by 1/n square is proportional to n power 4. ಹಾಗೆ E/V ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ 1/n square into n, V proportional to 1/n. So this gives you proportional to 1/n ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇವು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ n ಇದೆ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, 4th ಪವರ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, 1/n, ಇನ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಲಾಜಿಕ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್, ಹೇಗೆ ನೋಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನಿಮಗೆ V into R gives you n. We can stop today here and let us see the remaining problems in the next class. Thank you.